playing some more Factory Town, looking at chat and Streamlabs to see if I can figure out how to change which side of the bar it's on. I don't know why I did not look into this earlier, so I'll disregard that and just hopefully I can keep my attention on it. But starting off today, we'll get back into the game. One thing I've been thinking about all day at work is that I have not set up my grape farm or berry farm correctly, because in order to make sure that I am properly filling all of these, and you can see right now my machines on the, or my kitchens on the outside are full, whereas my one in the center is not. I need to evenly distribute my berries, but I am currently distributing per operation 1.5 berries to my outside farms and then only 1 berry to my inside farm per operation, because this is splitting it 50-50 in either direction. It needs to split it, I guess, there needs to be there needs to be different valid options. So I'm gonna keep this paused for a second and try to manipulate this to get it into the way it needs to be, which might require me to move this stuff around as well. And of course these silos are full, so they are going to be unhappy about me deleting them, but they'll survive. So let me just clear out all this for now. It'll make things a little easier if I have a blank slate to work with. So these can still pull at a constant rate, because these will be producing my 1 berry for each of these external slots. But then I need to have it so that there are 3 valid routes coming from my 2 interior farms, and 2 of the routes need to lead into something that feeds in the center. I want to do this. This might work. I'll kind of have to watch it for a little bit, but I'll be able to use a splitter on them afterwards to make sure that they are properly distributing their goods, so that 2/3 of them go to the center, which creates 1 1/3 berries per operation, and then 1/3 gets split to the outside one, so these are all evenly distributed at 1 1/3 berries per operation, meaning that they will all be able to they'll be able to output at their maximum capacity because they won't get full up. So the thing I'm concerned about right now is that I'll have 2 silos trying to feed onto the same thing rather than 1. And I can't think of a good way to resolve that, other than I guess just having these feed directly into the kitchen, which I might end up doing. Let me watch it for a little bit before I decide how I want to go about that, if I need to make any changes. Let's take a silo, put 1 down there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. I need to do that, that, and now I need some splitters. Okay, throw that here. Here. Oh, I remember why this was an issue, because I don't have space. Whoops. Okay. That's why I was struggling so much with this, because I didn't give myself enough room to work. Okay. So I'm gonna have to get a little more creative then. Let me delete this stuff then. I think these will be good. They are right here. Building silo. And then I'll have to turn these chutes, but that's not difficult. Okay. Okay, so these will feed directly into that. I need to pull the items from here at 1. Then I need to have 3 valid locations. One that goes that way. That's not gonna work. Won't work either. Okay, because that still only creates 2 valid routes. And it is because I do not have enough space. So I am going to need to move these farms back probably if I'm going to get this to work. So I guess I will build a line of berries behind them. I don't really need to do the edges, but I'm going to because I feel like it. And I've probably made a terrible mistake now by deleting my silos first because yes, now I don't have any berries. So let me get some grabbers on these. So then I can at least process some of the farms, and I'll delete these guys since I can't do anything with them right now anyway. Delete this stuff. And then hopefully by the time I'm done, I will have everything. I'll have enough berries to replant them. That's not what I want. Farming, berries. I have 0 berries. Why do I have 0 berries? Ah, yes, this is not shared inventory. Okay, I'll build a temporary barn. Then these will feed into the barn. Okay, now we should be able to do this. Farming, berries. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Bam. Alright. Delete the farm. Pause the game. Delete the scaffolding. Get a little overzealous with my scaffolding deletion. Honestly, I don't know why I deleted it. I need it there. Okay. Carefully delete this. Replace my farms. They don't need to face this direction, but I want them to. And now we can build an output with 3 valid directions. So one that goes that way, one that goes straight, and one that goes right. Okay. And we can still kind of do the little claw method that I designed. And then 2 silos, one here, grab a grabber, and grab some splitters. As a sorter. Splitters. Okay, now let's watch this for a sec and hope that we will start seeing even distribution of resources. Looks like they're all following suit and they're not jamming up yet, but they're also not. Are they running at full speed? It's a little hard to tell. Doesn't feel like it, but my silos are not outputting on the sides, which makes sense because they don't have any chutes out of them. Okay. So now we're gonna it's gonna be a little artificially inflated right now as far as the rate of production because of these silos filling up due to my negligence, but I think we're doing okay now. This is a little odd. What's going on right here is it's not feeding to the right at all. I think it has something to do with the timing of this, and right now nothing's being held up, so I guess that's not really a problem. I can ignore it for the time being. Alright. I think this problem is mostly sorted. It'll take a little bit of time to work out the kink, but we've got a reliable, oh hello Marmy Maze, we've got a reliable source of berries and as a result red coins. Other things I want to do, I want to make sandwiches I said last time, but basically I want to handle all the food stuffs before moving on, so this top line of inventory on houses, because Um, that'll give us a good base economy going. Sandwiches are worth a good amount of money. I think we'll probably do protein shakes or meat stew, and then butter, I guess. Let's look at the economy and figure out what's worth what. So meats. Meat stew is the most valuable, so that might be better. How do I make them? So meat stew is one cooked beef rather, a potato, a carrot, and fuel. Protein shake is down here at the bottom. 1 milk, 1 egg, and 1 sugar, but does not require fuel. Let me think. So, the difficult thing, I guess, about the meat stew is that it requires more fuel than it produces, because cooked beef will require 1 fuel and 1 beef, but every time a pasture outputs beef, it'll also output fertilizer, which it's self-sufficient as far as cooking the meat is concerned. So we'll have to get 2 fuel from somewhere else. That being said, I think we'll probably be able to get this from making cheese for the sandwiches, because as you can see, they take 3 milk and 1 cloth. We'll need to use one of those fuels to cook bread, but in the chicken, again, same situation here, is it'll support itself. So we'll still have 2 leftover fertilizer from that we can probably divert to the meat stew line. As long as we make sure it's properly feeding, I think it'll be okay. And then, based on difficulty, I'm imagining cheese is actually probably going to be more valuable than butter. So let's check the economy and go to the cheese section. Yes, cheese is worth. This is interesting though. It is worth 8 gold, or 8 red coins rather. So it's worth more, but it provides less saturation. So it might still be worth doing butter, because then our townsfolk will be happier, because they will be more likely to be able to meet their needs. And that'll have an overall positive impact on everything we do moving forward. So I think in the long term, even though this is worth less currency, it's probably the route that we should take. As far as this, what's going on here? Why is this backed up? I have consumed all of my herbs, so I can delete this assembly line. Which will free up a little bit of space, but our main issue are these berries that are going on right here. I'll kind of need to get rid of. Okay. Delete all this. Also give us some more conveyor belts, but I think we're good on those right now. I mean, we're not running on like a forever system. I just looked up in the corner and noticed I have so many blanks now. Alright, well, I think we're in a position where they don't know what to do anymore anyway, so let's just go ahead and delete these lumber mills. Well, I guess there was one guy who still knew what he was doing, but that's, whatever. We've cleared out enough space as far as trees are concerned. What is this barn? This barn is the wheat that these guys are collecting, so they'll be done with that soon. What else is going on? We've got the stones. They're still doing what they're doing. That's producing a slow trickle. These guys are still producing wood. And they've got a lot left, so I might want to consider actually diverting all of these to the workshop, cranking throughput on the workshop artificially, and then just selling the wagon wheels to my town. Because I think I have, I've got full storage there, and then I've got a bunch in my bank, and as you can see from deleting stuff, now the inventory on here is all full, which is a bit of an issue. So I'm going to want to try and deal with this in the only way that I know how, which is sell it. I mean, I can delete the stuff in here, I don't actually have to do that, but I don't want to. Can I sell paper? I don't think I can sell paper from here, no, so I will just want to delete the paper. Trash that. The juice can be sold, although not to the same location. I guess I'll just kind of do a drive-by of all of these. And filter out the water I can probably sell. Or delete, rather. I don't think water qualifies as anything. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay, let me unpause the game since things shouldn't be feeding into here at this point. I guess what I can do is I can start the conveyor outwards, and then filter things that I want to keep back in. It's not going to work either. Okay, I'll just have to keep an eye on it mostly. One item at a time. It'll feed it out. It'll be fine. Alright, so this. And then just let the game do whatever it wants to do to get it to this location. Alright, perfect. Now I need to turn and go over. I guess I can use a silo to get elevation a little bit faster. Put a silo. Build up to the top of it. So let's see, 1, 2, and then 3 is as high as I can go. So. And then I can show off pushers, which I haven't really interacted with. I'm not too high to get it into that building. I think I'm okay. I'll need to make sure to use archways over these so they don't block the path. Okay. The issue is going to be this assembly line right here. Oh, this is what I can do. This will work. Okay, I'm just kind of tilt it around this direction and then go up and over. Okay. Then go back down. And realizing this isn't going to work quite as elegantly as I would like, but this is what happens when you build a bunch of floating conveyor belts. Okay, so build the conveyor belt this way. Turn, and end up finally at the apothecary. So I don't know if we've used these at this point yet, but there's an item called a pusher. What a pusher does is that it will force an item to enter a structure if it is able to, and if it is not able to, then it will just continue down the line. That's not the correct direction. So I don't have to worry about making sure resources go to the right thing. Once they go in nearby a building that they're able to enter, they'll enter it, assuming my assembly line is not too high in the air, which it might be. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now I'll build a grabber and filter the grabber to grab what I want to grab currently, which I guess I'll start with the poultice, because I want to get rid of it. And it's worth like the most right now. So that'll take a little while. After it's all on the line, I can change the filter. But I think this will work. I kind of want to watch it before I get the whole assembly line full, but I also want this to go relatively quickly. Okay, change that to bandage. Here's the poultice, bandage, go. It'll spit out my bandage. Switch it to cloth. It'll spit out my cloth. Next is wool. What else do I need? I'll keep the assembly lines, but change it to juice next. And I think I'll hold on to, alright, this stuff's almost here. It helps if you actually build a grabber so that it can exit the silo. Okay. Let's watch and see what happens. I guess I have to wait till it gets to the end, which is the scariest part. Whoops. And I guess I'll sell the iron real quick while I'm thinking about it. It's like I'm debating if I want to hold on to it, but I think I'll just send it down the line. Iron plate. Okay. Alright, good. This is working. It's selling the stuff, so as this all feeds through it, we'll sell to the appropriate building, and life will be good. Can I sell fertilizer? I don't think I can. No, it doesn't look like it, so that's kind of stuck in there until I can figure out what... I guess I can just trash it, I don't need to keep it in there. Alright. Last but not least, bread. And then after a little while, I can just delete this whole line, but... Okay, so this, wagon wheels. And cloth, I guess. It's like the only... It's like I... Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, of course, that's why they're getting blocked up, because there's stuff. I guess I'll sell, because my wool is an infinite resource right now, and so are my wagon wheels. I mean, they're not truly infinite. The stone is the only thing that's, like, annoying, so I don't want to keep building conveyors. It's a whole thing. But this will be fine. Damn. Zero thought required. Let me think. I need to... Can't do it that way. So I think this will be fine later, but right now it's going to be a little weird. That should work, and then if I use a pusher, it will create this as the priority, and then it'll go from there. Of course, the line is all backed up because of the way that this is shaped. Alright, I'm gonna have to get a little creative. I mean, not wildly creative. Actually, I don't at all. Just needed to change the block above it. Okay. Oops. There we go. Alright, so now the line should be working. Things will feed through. I want to say the wagon wheels are worth gold and the cloth is also worth gold. It might be worth red coins. Cloth is worth 4 red coins. It's actually like a pretty good amount. And the wagon wheels are a gadget. Wood wheel is worth 8 gold, which is pretty good. It doesn't provide a lot of satisfaction, but do what you can right now. And as you can see, my happiness is skyrocketing, which is going to improve my overall productivity. I just have to be a little bit careful because this is feeding from the barn, but it doesn't really matter. I'll survive since all of this will get torn down eventually anyway. Okay, I'm trying to think what else is going on. So these guys are still just collecting stone. It looks like my line is full because I have messed up somewhere, so as a result they're not outputting. Seems like this is nope. The culprit is this one. What direction are you facing? You are facing that way. Why are you not outputting? I bet I know what the issue is. This conveyor belt is probably a block higher than the other conveyors. So I'll have to use a grabber for that one. Yeah, I guess I should have paid closer attention to make sure I was building on level ground, but it seems like it's not working stupendously as a result. Did I actually need this? No. Okay, so that one works fine. You just kind of see them like flicker for a second, so it's hard to tell if it's working or not. Okay, so that'll allow that to increase in capacity. Double check my kitchens again. It still seem to be struggling, but these aren't filling up, so I think we have achieved equilibrium here. These are as full as they were. These are constantly running, which is like a little weird, but it seems like we're fulfilling all of our needs, so I'm gonna say that that's good. How are these guys doing? They're getting there. Probably have them go for the grain after they're done with all of the berries. But I might need to change the shape of this conveyor belt because it is currently in my way. So are these trees, honestly? What do I want to do with these trees? Might be getting a little ahead of things. because I still have to actually start building the assembly line. And the sandwiches are a process. So I know I'm going to need a wheat farm, but I am going to need to produce a lot of animal products as well. So I guess what I should do is get a count on how much wheat I'm going to need and what sort of time frame. So a grain mill takes 3 wheat and 4 seconds to produce 1 flour, and I will need 1 flour. So that's 3 wheat right there in 4 seconds. I think speaking of wheat, I think my guys are done, but nope, they still, some of them found some more, some of them figured it out. I guess, go ahead guys. Oh, something that I noticed in the patch notes before starting the stream is they've changed the way that, or they've added new functionality, and you can tell, you can give your people directions now by right-clicking and then right-clicking the destination and then right-clicking the other destination. You don't have to, I've done this backwards, you don't have to drag anymore, although you still can. It's just a nice quality of life thing. Alright, okay, so continue to clear out this area. Let me grab a farm. I'm pretty sure a farm produces wheat 1 every 1.5 seconds. Yeah, one and blah, whatever. Okay. So I am going to open up Excel and be an absolute nerd and write down what I need so I don't have to keep track of it all in my head because I'm already losing my mind. So I'll need chicken, so let me get a pasture down. Pasture, to make a chicken it takes 2 animal feed in 5 seconds. Okay, so 2, I guess this will be my feed category, my grain and my wheat. So I need 2, I guess I need a time category. 2 every 5. So that'll produce 1. I want to say a sandwich can be made by a kitchen every 3 seconds. And I'll want to produce them as quickly as I can. Yeah, 1 every 3 seconds. So that right there, I'm already going to need 2 pastures to meet that demand, and then that's 1 chicken every 2.5 seconds. So I'm a little over demand, which means I'll need to figure out what to do with the excess. So, but I'll cut the time down to 2.5 and turn the wheat up to 4, or the feed up to 4 rather, as my need. What other animal products? So that's chicken. I need 3 milk, and that's going to be a big one. So these, it'll produce it quickly enough. So I need 3 to make cheese. And cloth. So I'll need 2 sheep farms to produce 1 cloth every 3 seconds. So that's 4 more feed. Don't make fun of me for using Excel. 4 feed right there. And then technically, wait, no, so I need multiply this by 6 and then to multiply it by 2/3. I'm losing my mind. Okay, so 6, so I only need 4 feed to in a 3-second time frame to produce enough milk. How long does it take to cook bread? Bread requires 4 seconds, oddly enough. So I'll have to expand that as well. Do I want? I might just build 2 and then sell the excess because it's going to be easier to process that way. But my assembly line shouldn't be too insane. I need to remember as well that I can, don't know smiley face me. I can upgrade my pastures so they are going to have an artificially higher rate than the others, but Guess we'll go from there. I lost my train of thought. So 4 flour. Flour requires 3 each. And then feed requires 2 each. So if I sum up this, multiply it by 2, then sum up this, and multiply that by 3, I need 36 wheat. I'm not yelling at you. You're yelling at me. Don't make fun of me, Marmy Mace. 36 wheat. I can produce... In the amount of time it takes to cook a sandwich, I can produce 2. So... I need 18 farms? That doesn't sound right. That seems a little excessive, but now that I think about it, I built a sandwich assembly line on my other world, and it was pretty slow. And if I'm looking to make it at full capacity, that might be right, but then I guess I might need to scale it back by like 1/4, because there's no way I can lay out 18 wheat farms worth of wheat. So yeah, I guess I'll scale it back. Call you Marmy, fine. So how are these berry guys going? I'm definitely gonna have to change this assembly line, because it is right in my prime real estate. Okay, let me pause. I guess I don't need to pause the game. They'll just fill up the barn, which is fine. It's like 18 wheat farms. Scale it down by half. That's 9 wheat farms. It's still a lot. I could go down to 5. And then just not run at full capacity, which honestly might be my best course of action. Okay. So, I need to build a ramp. I think I can pull from there, and I'll make it these pieces so they can still run underneath. Make it go lower so that they can, items will travel faster, and so I don't have to use as many scaffolds. Come on. Alright, there we go. So, build a chute. That goes uphill there, so I guess I couldn't do that. Where do I want to turn it? I guess here. I shouldn't have deleted that other end of the line. So I guess I'll rebuild it and then line it up with this. Okay. Alright, so I actually can turn there. So build another silo. Make it go downhill because I love doing that. Oh, I can make this a really big ramp. It'll go so fast. Actually, it probably has the maximum speed, but we'll pretend. Okay. Now I need a grabber. That's the wrong direction. Interesting. Cannot grab this way. This I did not know. But I can probably do it like this, although it won't be maximum speed, but whatever. Okay, now it's working. berries go? Going so fast. I didn't build the rest of this chute. Okay. There we go. Alright. And these guys will be done gathering that soon. I'll probably tell them to gather the wheat. I don't really intend on building a kitchen to process it, but that'll be fine. Okay. I guess I could process it into flour at least. It'd probably be a good idea. Let me flatten this terrain out. And honestly, I mean, I'm just gonna start trashing these trees, I guess. Remove resources. Okay, now flatten down. Try not to destroy the lake and or the river in the process, but interesting that it's letting me modify the terrain with the coal deposits on it. There we go, that's much faster. Oh my gosh, I just spent like 1,500 gold doing that. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, is that all flat? Perfect, let's mow the lawn. My lawnmower is a motor vehicle. Alright, beautiful. Okay. So, the first part of the assembly line and what is going to be the largest part of the assembly line is going to be the wheat. Honestly, now that I've cleared everything out, I might have space to pull off 9 farms. And if I really have to, I can fill in the lake. So I think I'm going to go big or go home. Alright, I'll try to build a layer of 2 around all of them, but I'm not confident in that supporting it, because I know wheat is a much lower capacity item. How many is that? 7, 8, 9. Good lord. Okay, and I can rotate some of these as I figure out where I want to put them all. Because I do have pieces that, you know, I'm definitely not going to have everything feed down the same line. That would be terrible. I need to split it as is necessary. So, buildings, not that. Farm tile. Actually, might run into some issues with fertilizer because I need to build so many farm tiles at once. My factories might not be ready for that. Okay, you guys need to continue chopping down trees like good little nerds. Harvest wood. Bring wood to shoot. Harvest wood. Bring wood to shoot. You know what? You can harvest this apple tree, and you can bring it to the base, and then eventually I'll change this to be apples. That's a tomato. Apples. And we will sell the apples. Anything else? Can I sell coal? I feel like the answer to that question is no as well. At least not with my current things. Let me check my building menu to see if there are other buildings I can sell. Specialty goods. I wonder if I can sell it there. Rare and magical items. That doesn't really fit the description. So I'm going to go ahead and say the answer is no. Plus I can't build it anyway because I need reinforced planks. Which I plan on building an assembly line for at some point, but not yet. Because you use them in a lot of things. You use them to upgrade your houses, use them to upgrade your base. They sell for blue coins, which we need to do research. So, in due time. So what I might actually need, and these guys are almost done with the berries, which is good, I'll have them gather all the wheat, and I don't think I have wheat in a shared inventory anywhere, so I will probably actually need them to harvest that. So how is this? Almost done? Perfect. Yeah, let me see. Farming. Yeah, I don't have wheat anywhere in a shared inventory, so that's a little bit of an issue. So this berry bush is very, very nearly depleted. And once it is, I will change their commands and disable the grabber for now. And honestly, probably grab more people to do it. Can you tell workers to interact with each other? Can. Oh no, it just goes to that location. Drop off your berries. Okay. So, disable this. Active state off. Harvest grain. Bring to barn. Harvest grain. Harvest grain. Bring to barn. And you. Honestly, I'll just spam some people. Okay, so we'll have some wheat trickling in, which will make life a little bit easier. What I can actually do, and I want... This is going to be a little silly, but I want to do it because I think it'll be fun. I'm going to have people gather wheat and send it this way up the conveyor belt, but then it's going to go uphill and then swing back in and around. So it helps if I build my chute the correct direction. Okay. Alright. Get a couple workers. See if this actually works, and if it does, I think it'll be hilarious. Alright, there goes the wheat. Tries to go uphill. It actually made it up the hill, what the hell? Interesting. So I guess if it has enough speed, it can go uphill. That's something worth noting, because I did not know that. I thought it was just like a hard, fast rule, it cannot go up hills. But it just succumbs to gravity eventually. So this works. I have now reversed the polarity of my line, and my barn is filling up very quickly, so let me begin placing my wheat. Actually don't need as much as I thought I did, although I still will probably, yeah, still need to gather more. Okay. These barns will start producing once this is ready. What do I need to do right now? I'll probably want to build my pastures. It's kind of like a beginner's trap to some extent to want to build my pastures in an area where they have access to water. It's not completely necessary. I can feed water to them without utilizing too much footprint. So I guess I need to decide if I want to do that or if I want to utilize this space to make my kitchens. And everything has to go through a grain mill first as well, which is something I have to bear in mind. Okay. Let's plant a little more grain. I'm really, really, really hoping that this is enough space to consistently produce wheat, because I don't want to have to expand this. I am not going to design my assembly line with room to expand it, so... Alright, you need a new task here. You can help your brother gather these apples, since it's going to take 1,000 years. How many apples are here? 100. Okay, how's this doing? Is this full yet? Almost. Looks like we're full up to this point. So with 300 more space, you can see they've carved out a pretty large section. This guy's just chilling, I guess. Please do your job. We've gone through a lot of this resource, although I don't think that's going to be an issue. I'm not planning on it being an issue since it seems like stone is a renewable resource. Of course, it's all bottlenecked, but that's fine. It'll survive. Get those trees, boy. I'll delete this barn because it's not currently being used. It's just taking up space. I'm trying to think, what is... Okay. We are running into some issues now with this whole assembly line. Can I... I don't think this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. Can I use a pusher to force items into the wagon? No, I cannot. Okay. Then I guess I will want to divert this line. I can delete the wagon, delete the path that it's on, and then just use an assembly line. I've done this wrong. Okay. So then as long as the workshop is full, it'll continue down. Okay, what are these? Why are these guys upset? Because they don't know how to find more wheat. Go over here, gather this. I don't know why I'm just like punishing these people. Like, go on an epic journey just to clear up things off the face of the planet because I don't want them there. And I can't help but feel that this is probably about to become a chronic issue. Come on. Is every one of these people drops their stuff off or doesn't drop it off because they can't leave because there's too many workers? Come on guys, what's your problem? Why can't you go? There's literally only one path. Alright, cool. I need to fix that. So, this is gonna be a strange solution, but a solution nonetheless. I'm gonna build them a little walkway this way. That's the wrong direction. That's not what I told you to build. Okay. I have a cute little walkway for them to go across. I'm gonna use stone bridges. That's the Windows key. That's not the B key. Structural blocks. Stone bridge. Whee! Okay. And of course, there just happens to be one guy exactly in the way. Alright, so now they should be able to... Yep, alright, there we go. Now they have more routes, and I suppose I should build a second path over this conveyor belt. Although I don't feel like it's really going to help much, given the shape of everything, but yeah, they'll survive. I feel like two ways... Actually, now this is going to be a little interesting. I don't know if people respect this, but there are logistics blocks one way. I can tell them that this is one way and that is one way. So now they have to go in this way, they'll drop their stuff off at the barn, and then they'll leave accordingly. And they appear to be obeying those rules, which is honestly a little bit shocking. People don't really tend to obey those rules in real life, but now we should have fewer jam-ups. In fact, you can even build little gates, but I think until you unlock compute blocks, you can't. You'll have to toggle it on and off. I'm curious to see if I can get to a point where things are so complex that this proves useful, but I'm sure if it's in the game, like, it's worth it. I am curious to see what opportunity awaits me. But I need blue coins before I can do that. Alright. So these guys are done with wheat. I have foolishly filled my barn and ruined my assembly line. Okay. Alright. It's all very, very broken. Can I force it to change direction, or is it all just stuck? these guys because their bubbles are getting in my way. Okay, yep, that's all it took, rather. Not quite, because now it doesn't have the capacity to get uphill, so I guess I'll get to use my method after all. There we go. And it should sort itself out after a short period of time. Honestly, I'll let these guys keep making stuff. Even though I already deleted them. Alright, you guys can ever so slowly gather all of that grain. This guy's just broken. Okay, turn this back on. Guess I'll keep this in place. I don't need it, but I'll keep it in place. Now they're gonna sell that wheat for 1 coin each, which is kind of pointless, but hey, gets it out of the way. And then pretty soon I'll be able to delete the assembly line since I will need its precious real estate anyway. How are we doing? Only 4 resources left there. I guess that's what I'm really concerned about. As you can see from all of these, grain does not have a lot. Like this. I like backed up assembly line meta, just going in circles. Okay. I'm almost tempted to add a 3rd layer of wheat around it because I am scared about throughput. So I am going to do that now rather than later when it becomes very difficult to do so. Okay, I need to first raise the land over here. That's not working. Okay. That worked too well. Didn't mean to do that last one. Okay. There we go. Make sure the ground is all level underwater. Okay. I guess I'm going to delete one of these iron ore deposits so I can get a nice even layer of 3 all the way around. Although, as a dummy, I probably should have thought about that before selling off all of my resources. Okay, fair amount of farm, grain. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this. But what I can do is this. Just steal from one of these farms for a moment. It really helps if you put items the correct direction. There we go. Okay, grab a grabber. It's too high up in the air. Okay. Delete this man since he no longer has a job. And finish my farm. I'm relatively confident that 3 will be sufficient, but if it isn't, I guess I'll learn the hard way. So, I'll go from there. How's this all doing? Is everything where it needs to be? Okay, we're very slowly chewing through the backlog on these silos, which might seem like a bad thing, but it does mean we are closer to equilibrium. Eventually we'll reach a point where these are not backed up. We'll be utilizing them as quickly as we can produce them. Happiness is maintaining consistent, which is good. It means that I am fulfilling needs. What needs am I fulfilling? I am fulfilling artificially in fulfilling everything except for fruits and vegetables. So I guess the fact that I'm maintaining consistent happiness is a fluke. But I think we'll survive. Oh, we got a bunch more people who need jobs. I guess I'll put them back on this. go so far away for their trees. Poor little guys. Alright. They're still mining away at the stone. These guys are still getting the grain. Alright. Wonder, is this how large my map is? Or no, it looks like more land generates when you purchase it. Although I think it is limited to some extent. Maybe that's the edge. I don't know. I haven't reached the edge of a world. I didn't pick an infinite world, so I'm imagining it can run out, but I have not reached a point where I have found out what the limit is. I feel like I missed a square when I was planting last time, but I guess I filled it in already. Okay. I can now disassemble this line. Turn this on until it pumps everything out. And then I'm almost ready to completely disassemble this whole area. These guys are about as ready as they're ever gonna be. So I need to kind of work backwards. I'll start with my I'll start with baking bread. I can't start with baking bread because bread requires fuel. I'll start with cheese, which means I need cotton. I want to use cotton rather than wool. There's a train outside. Cotton requires another farm, but I want to say it produces it faster. Let me see. I can collect 1 cloth's worth of cotton in 4 seconds. So I'll need 2 farms on that. Then I'll be producing a surplus of cloth, which isn't a problem. Or alternatively, I can do 2 sheep pens, which gives me the exact quantity I need and produces fuel. I think it produces the amount of fuel I need. What the fuck? Excuse me? Huh? Oh no. I built the wheat close enough to the farm that it started to harvest it and jammed up my whole assembly line. Oh, that's hilariously awful. Okay, I guess what I need to do in the future is deselect auto-manage resources because I feel like it's going to repeat this problem. Also, 69 available wheat, nice. Okay, I gotta go fix my juice. Didn't think about that, but that's a problem. Okay, how do I go about deleting this? I mean, I guess I just delete the shoots. Can I build a new one to delete it? Nope, I have to delete it and replace it. So I guess I'll pause it so my line doesn't get more messed up than it already is. Are we good? No, because this is going to still output at some point, so I'm going to want to output this of my own accord out the back artificially. I guess I should also set these to be filtered to grape. I don't know why I call them grapes. They're called berries. They look like grapes. Holy shit, what is this? A logic link? It's a logic link. I don't understand. I added a logic link to itself. What? I can issue a command? Okay, I've just been blown away by something. And I don't even understand what it is or what the potential is, but it seems amazing. I don't know what that means, but it looks cool. Alright. I guess I can delete some of this excess scaffold, just so you can see the berries from underneath, so that you can get adequate sunlight. I have to keep these because they're the supporting structure, even though you don't actually have to have it be naturally supported. I know, I'm pretty sure I articulated that I designed this in a way so that things could go underneath it, and I'm sure I will forget that I changed the structure and will have to fix it later, but it's okay. I want it to look like that. Okay, is this all good now? Is it broken? Why is this not filtering? What have I done? Ah, that's what I've done. Paths. No. Logistics blocks. Splitter. There we go. Things are about as good as they're going to be now. Why are these full? I don't understand what's happening. I could press a period key to learn more about grabbers. It's not telling me much though. What does a splitter do? It splits things. What's a number block do? Number block does nothing, apparently. Okay. So let me get the wheat out of here. And I'll feed it into a silo and then just delete the silo. Filter for wheat. Alright. Except I'm pretty sure that all just went into my base, but whatever. Actually it didn't, it just got deleted, which is what I wanted. Okay, we'll all full up on conveyor belts again, which is good. Okay, inventory in the main base seems reasonable. So, I guess what I want to do, I guess I'll start with sheep. Sheep. So, how much? I need to build a pasture, but I'm pretty sure I need grain mills as well. Let me look at the pasture first. So, I need, if I have 2 of these, I'll need 4 of them in 6 seconds. 4 feed, that is. So 4 feed in 6 seconds, which is equal to 2 feed in 3 seconds. How long does it take to make animal feed? It only takes 2 seconds. It takes 2 wheat in 2 seconds, so that's not going to be a bottleneck. But I guess what it could end up being is too much. I build 2 of them, but I guess as long as I divert my wheat resources appropriately, it'll be a non-issue. Do I want to elevate this? I think the answer is yes. I think I actually want to build this directly over. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. So I need to make 2 feed in 1 unit of time. Which means I need 4 wheat in 3 seconds, which is how much 2 farms make. So I think I'm all good. So let me build some scaffolding. I do actually have to fully support the grain mills. They can't just be levitating. I mean, they sort of. They can, their scaffolding can be levitating, but they have to have a complete base underneath them. We'll do this. Build 2 grain mills. Set them both to animal feed. And then build a chute from each of these farms. a grabber. Okay. So, and let's be smart about this and set it to the resource I need on the off chance something goes horribly wrong. These will now produce enough feed to support 2 pastures. So, build a pasture here. Not there, that's too close. Is it? Yeah, it is. Pasture there, pasture there. And what I'll actually do is I'll build a well and I'll feed the well line underneath. Way to make this more compact. I feel like the answer is no. I want to say that one well will output fast enough, but I guess we'll find out after the fact if it doesn't satisfy my needs. Okay, so that'll feed out automatically on its own. Don't have to worry about that, but I will need a conveyor belt pushing water out of the well. And I'll want to use a pusher to force it into the first one, and then obviously once the first one is full, it'll move on from there. Put this to wool. I'm realizing I'm already about to run into some rocks, so might have to get a little smarter with my line. What I should do, I think I can raise this up. Might need to feed the water in the front and then feed the resources out the back, which will work out because I'll have enough space that I can channel the wool in one direction and channel manure a different direction. I'm going to actually have these face inwards into each other so I don't accidentally output onto conveyor belts where I don't want to. Can build the well right here, tucked right in by the coal, so it'll be carbon rich. It'll have lots of, good resources. It'll make my sheep's lungs just filled with coal dust. Be great. That's how you get black sheep. You feed them coal dust and then it just grows into their fur. It's not like a mutation or anything. You just have them roll around outside and then that's what happens. Okay. So that's not going to work because I need a grabber. And I believe this will produce it fast enough. Like, I don't foresee it being an issue when it takes 6 seconds. But I guess we'll see. Okay, yeah, it is producing at least. Okay, I think it is safe to send the wool out on the same line. Although then, how do I get rid of the manure? Because I don't want them sharing a line, but I don't really have space to make them overlap. Or do I? So right now I have these feeding out of their default slot just as a luxury. I don't need to do that. I can have them feed out further, and that will give me a little more space in the center to work with, which I think is the best course of action. And then I can have I'll have one assembly line going that way to feed manure, and then one going that way to feed wool. And then a second line that goes underneath to get the wool out of there. And that's not going to work. Okay. I guess I'll delete this. I can replace it once I've gotten my line situated. So do the same thing over here. I guess I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So this will be, that is the wool line. Alright, there we go, the wool line. And the 2 manure lines will feed into a silo, so I can use the height of the silo to get above the current these guys, the chutes above them. So grab these 2 grabbers, grab fertilizer, which is at the top or the bottom, I don't remember, it's right there. Fertilizer, okay, and now one grabber here, one grabber here, and set them to wool. Alright, so both of these are at wool. I want to say it's safe to just build my workshop right here. I guess I'll put it right there. Oh wait, no. I do need to scoot it over so I have space to get this silo out. I guess I'll delete some of the coal. Okay. So delete that. Buildings. Workshop. And then I'll set it to cloth. 1 cloth takes 4 seconds. So I might actually need to build a second one. In fact, I know I will. And the question is, how do I want to do that? And then how do I want to distribute it? I think I will build two of these. But I need to push them out a little bit further. So 2 workshops, again, I'll make them face into each other. That'll leave still a gap so I can feed around here if I need to, or around back if I have to. I guess what I can do is actually change this assembly line direction. So now that's going straight, and then this will go that way. Then I can put a splitter here to make sure my resources are evenly distributed, so that I'm not overburdening one of these, but then also ensuring that I'm getting a consistent output. Do I need to do that? It'll happen naturally on its own without it. I think I can get away with just using a pusher, pushing into the first one. That'll output wool. So now we've got cloth going at a rate that is satisfactory for our needs. I feel like I can't do this. I feel like I have to have this here because I'm pretty sure I'm just going to end up copying this grain mill setup for my cow farms. So I guess I'll move this again. Workshop. Bam. Bam. What am I talking about? I just build it on this side. Okay. Well, that was a little unnecessary, but we'll survive. Guess I'll change the direction of this a second time. Okay. Grab pushers again. Alright. I'm gonna actually let this run to make sure, one, it's doing what it needs to, but also it's okay if I overburden or if I end up filling these up. Right now it's mostly just a proof of concept. Why is this not receiving water? Oh, because this isn't full yet. Bye, Marmy. See you around. I have 7 cloth. Neat. Next. Cow farms. let's rotate these just to signify that they're feeding in this direction. And then one back, or I'll have this one for chicken. I guess these two for chicken. I think these are my wheat, and I'm pretty sure that's everything. Guess we'll find out. It would be nice to figure out a solution where I can fit my pastures on this side, but it might not be in the cards. I guess these can be the ones for the flour. Then these can be my milk. Have those ones face that way. And then that way I'll still have a little bit of space to work with here. And then that'll still be out of the way, and since it requires a little bit of assembly line, we'll be able to do that. Okay. So, I need more green. Gonna put it over here. These lines finished yet? Okay, these guys are still gathering wheat. I guess I don't need this space yet, so I might as well let them do it. Is this line doing anything useful? The answer is currently no. I think I'm going to trash this line. It's currently my get shit out of base line, but that's fine. I don't need the resources either, I just kind of want it not in existence. Mostly because it is likely going to get in the way of me getting this assembly line into this area. But I mean, of course, so is this monstrosity, so I guess we'll figure that out when the time comes. Okay, that's all good. My wheat guys are still just collecting wheat from all across the universe. Alright. Grain mills. Set to animal feed. I keep saying how I need like 3. Wondering if I was wrong and I need more for my milk. I hope that's not the case, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it is the case. 2, 3. Grabbers. Filter them. Alright. So these are doing their jobs. Now I'll need more pastures. Okay. Milk takes 2 and 2 seconds. I don't produce it that quickly. I produce 2 and 3 seconds. But that's fine. I'm actually going to go more overboard with the wells, I guess. No, I should be fine with only 1. But for the sake of keeping this nice and pretty, I'll delete my coal again, so I can have it kind of hooked in like I did before. Alright. Kind of want to watch this line to make sure that it is actually meeting my needs, but for now I think we're good. And so I'm going to run into the same situation I had here with managing manure. Except in this case, I'll probably want to use more silos. But it's going to get a little tricky. build this entire infrastructure first to make sure it's all linked. So manure there, milk, probably this way actually. So manure, milk. And I could feasibly run into an issue where I am I don't think I can put all of this on one line. So I want to watch that. I'm constantly just watching everything, but I'll need to see that that actually works. Just like I'll need to see that these actually can get manure out of here. C. Filter out some milk. Now I feel like this situation isn't going to work. I have to delete this middle silo, which will require me to change this shape. So that'll be milk. That'll be fertilizer. I mean, I guess I can put milk in the middle. Doesn't really matter at that point. Then I'll want to build these chutes into the pastures. Just, I don't know if I can get it high enough fast enough. I guess I don't have to jam these right here. I could push the silos over, but I want to see if this works first before I do that. Okay. Put these grabbers on the chutes. Then I will want that, that, that. Guess I'll build some more structure underneath just for shits and giggles. I hope this will work, but I don't know if I can pull from there. Make sure it's set to manure so I don't accidentally pull anything else out, although it shouldn't happen. Okay, so now I'll just kind of wait and see what happens. So I have to wait for these to actually get filled up with water as part of that. Of course, this is not actually producing anything because of where it is sitting. I deleted a rock for you, and this is how you repay me. Okay, so now we should start seeing some output on this. The question is going to be, can I realistically fill this up? And it seems that the answer is no. In fact, I might literally have to have a well for every building, which is fine. I just wasn't expecting that. But that also means I'm probably going to run into issues on the whole assembly line front of things. Which, of course, now that I have items on the assembly line, it's hard to tell what's happening, so I guess I will put a silo here to collect the milk until I can better determine what's happening. Okay. So now all of these will be supplied with water. I realize I've designed this in a way that I can hardly tell what's going on, but milk is being stopped. Not free flowing. So, I am going to have to rethink my design. What I probably should do is feed out this way. So delete that. Fortunately, I gotta trash this for now, but at least it's working. Okay, let's just scrap everything. I can rebuild it easily enough, and go from there. Not design this in redesign friendly fashion. Alright, I think that's everything. Look underneath, it looks like I got all the conveyor belts. I'm gonna just replace the scaffolding real quick. Alright. As far as the fertilizer is concerned, I think I still have to go about this the same way. So we'll do a feed there and there. Honestly, just for symmetry's sake, not even really symmetry, but because I want to, I'll do it like this, so my bridge is balanced. That's a grabber, I need a conveyor belt. Okay. Boom. 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 It's interesting to see that this is actually filling up. Throughput of manure is not our highest priority right now. I think we'll be fine without maximizing that, which I don't know, might sound sarcastic, but I'm being serious. I don't think we'll need all of it as fuel. Only some of it. Ooh, I should build my grabbers before I get them completely covered by scaffolding. Of course, now I can't even click on that one. Can I get it from here? No. What a ridiculous angle. Okay. I guess I'll just delete that block real quick. I don't know why I'm going about this the hard way. Fertilizer. In fact, I'm gonna have to do that for all of these, aren't I? Yeah. Fertilizer. And fertilizer. Okay, so we should be good on that front now. Build the scaffolding. Rebuild the conveyor belt. That's the wrong direction, probably. But for now, I'm going to say it is. Okay, so everything's going where it needs to go, except milk is going nowhere right now. I need kitchens. How long does a kitchen take to make cheese? 10 seconds! So I need 4 kitchens. Good lord. Okay. I feel like I should give a few spaces. So I have to do the reverse of what I did on my grape farm. Because I have 3 inputs, I need to create 4 lines. I know the cloth is producing a surplus. I think the milk is producing a surplus too, isn't it? Yeah, because I'm producing it in 2 seconds. So I guess as far as feeding the milk into the kitchens, I don't need to make sure that that line is fully optimized. 1, 2, 3, 4. It would probably be nice to optimize it though, so I can more effectively sell off the extra, but I think I'll be fine without it. assembly line. That way. I'm going to want pushers along the way to force things in. Okay, so that hits those two, that hits those two, that hits those two. That should result in a relatively equal distribution. If not naturally, will eventually. That is not facing the correct direction. How did I manage to do that? And right at the end of this, I'll put a silo to collect the excess. It has water, so it must have been working. Okay, I need to make grabbers to actually pull out the milk. 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 And next I need to feed cloth in. Can I make a splitter? Form logic. Like crazy. Farms fork like that efficient. Not necessarily. Oh, work. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't really know if they work that efficiently. I know it works with this whole berry setup, but berries naturally are much higher in quantity than grain. So I'm gonna have to hope that this is sufficient. It seems like it's more than it needs, but also these aren't running at full capacity right now, so that's part of it. Okay, this is set to the wrong direction. I need this to face that way. Okay. How are these guys doing? They just finished grabbing the last of that wheat. I guess I'll give them a few friends to get this done. And I'll change the direction of their chute. Make their life easier. Bring it a little closer. Moderately so, at least. Okay. Okay. So that one needs to be downhill. Better than nothing, I guess. Started playing yesterday, it was a bit confusing. Yeah, I found the game is kind of hard to get your grips on at first as well. It's not wildly intuitive, but once you kind of start to get a handle on things, you'll be able to just watch how things go, how things happen, and make decisions based on that. But it did take a little bit of figuring out what's going on. Don't know how to use conveyors. They're pretty similar to chutes, but you can tell your people to put things on them just like chutes, but they feed at a consistent rate in the direction that they face. So if you want to influence the direction, it will flow onto them. So you can see here the turns, you turn on that block and it'll go down that way. But before you get to work into conveyors, you'll definitely want to get intermediate logistics researched, because chutes kind of have their own built-in AI, so to speak, of their order of operations, how they'll direct themselves down paths, but conveyors can't change direction unless they hit a conveyor that's going a different direction. So if you get your access to your logistics blocks, you can make branching paths that way. How are these guys doing? This guy is broken. They're all broken because they cannot reach this. There we go. Okay. got it all unlocked. Alright, good. So yeah, you just have to get familiar with your logistics blocks and you'll be able to make your stuff run in no time. Okay, so now I need to take this stuff out of the workshop. I have not designed my setup in a friendly manner. Actually, have I? No, I have not, because this silo is in the way, but I guess I can go over it. Or I can just delete coal. I don't want to delete the coal. I like the coal. Oh, I can just build over the coal. Never mind, I'm gonna build over the coal. Hello, Trevor. Have I explored extracting minerals? The carts are kind of fun, crazy. I do like them. There's something satisfying by watching them going around. And as Trevor, I unfortunately have not explored minerals yet. I need to get blue coins to research mines, and I guess I have sort of explored it. I've got some iron over here, but I don't want to go hard on it until I've got mines. Honestly, I could do more with forestry, but I want to get all my food stuff taken care of first. Yeah, it's taller than I wanted. I did that by mistake. Okay. That. Okay. So, this will feed. And just have this go on its own. I don't think I'll ever have to worry about the silo because I shouldn't be able to feed through my milk. Yeah, I like the game a lot, crazy. It's definitely like it's not too hardcore, but there's a lot of potential. It seems like, because like what, just to make sandwiches efficiently, it's getting ridiculous. Yes, I've now made a conveyor that goes on top of the other conveyor. By mentioning it though, you've reminded me something important that I needed to know. I used the wrong type of scaffold. By looking at it again, I realized I used solid blocks, and that would have blocked off all of the milk from underneath. Let's do this. Alright. There we go. Now, we shouldn't have jam ups. Okay. That there, that there, that there. I'll need grabbers to get stuff out. So it's gonna be a little backed up at first, but we should be okay. Trying to remember, okay, so let me think. I am actually going to run into issues with this because I am producing exactly the amount of cloth I need, but I'm producing more milk than I need. So I'm going to hit a shortage with cloth, which means I do need to evenly distribute it, which is going to make this more complex than I originally thought, because I don't know how to distribute it. I need to branch it off into 4. So I guess it just requires a set of 2 splitters, but I will need to delete this line because it's not going to do the job. So, I need to make 2 paths. It's the wrong block again. Come on. So I'll have one path go here. So I'll need a splitter there. Build. No, I messed that up. that needs to go there, and then that goes on top. And one here, and one here. So this is a path. I don't need pushers, I just need a splitter. Okay, and then this way, repeat the same setup but over here. Guess I'll do it on. I'm gonna put this well in just the worst spot, so I'm gonna move it over by 1. Okay, now I've got space to do what I need to do. How high can the conveyor go? A conveyor can, all things can interact with the building up to the 3rd block. So like, this would be the 2nd, or I guess this is a bad example. If we're looking at the pasture, it is feeding into the 3rd block. Sorry, no, the 2nd block. I could bring this up 1 higher and it would still go in there, but if I go to the 4th one, it won't accept it anymore. That being said, I think you do have to go a little bit higher to clear a building and build a line over it. But also part of it is like graphically, I think they appear taller than they actually are. Maybe this yellow or greenish yellow bounding box is probably your reference point that you need to look at. I know I built a line over this building, so I guess this is how we can see. Okay, so at least to build it over a lumber mill, you can build it at the level of the top of the bounding box, which I'm like pointing at my screen, but you can't really see where I'm pointing. Okay. Alright. This should evenly distribute my cloth. Right now it's backed up because of the... Actually, what am I doing? I literally have 2 inputs. Why am I... Okay. I have to delete some more coal, but that'll be fine. And this well is in the way, of course. Delete that. I don't know why I'm, like, unnecessarily complicating things. Be careful not to delete everything, which I'm currently doing. Neat. That's back to the shape it's supposed to be. But scaffold, no, the scaffold's fine. So my well was right there, but that's a bad spot for it. Where do I want to move my well instead? Can I even move my well? I feel like I'm... I guess... Okay, no, I didn't need to delete that. I can keep it there, I just have to build my line in an awkward shape. Okay, so let me delete this coal. So I'll need... Oh, I need to delete that coal is what I needed to do. So I'll put a splitter there. And then one line will go this way and feed into the further farm, and then one will go there and feed to the closer one. Okay, this should work now, as long as my conveyor belt feeding out is the correct direction. So I should start seeing cheese get made. One cheese, one cheese. And it takes 10 seconds. Okay, so we have cheese finally. It's like 3:30 now, and I gotta get up for work tomorrow. Trevor, you gotta get up for work too, don't you? What are you doing in chat? So even though I unfortunately did not complete my goal of building a sandwich farm, oh, you don't have to get up tomorrow. Well, lucky you. I've got the first big steps down, which are cheese and honestly, it's cheese. Cheese is the only real hard part. Work Tuesday to Thursday, frowny face. I think I'm gonna call it at this point and see you guys tomorrow when I will actually finish the assembly line then. Crazy and Trevor, have a good night. Third person who's watching, whoever you are, have a good night. And I'll see y'all around. Bye-bye.